Alright y'all, what is going on? In today's video, I'm going to be explaining everything wrong with Quixx and honestly why the game is dying, because there's just so many reasons, and I feel like Rainbow Six Siege as a whole game is just becoming more and more dead because of, the glitches and everything else that comes with it, like, poor content creation and all that stuff. So I'm going to quickly go over everything that I think is wrong with the game right now and the absolute downfall of Siege. So the first major thing is Siege. So Quixx was supposed to come out and kind of revamp the game, make it kind of a newer feel while keeping the aspects of the old game the same. And I feel like what Quixx did instead was create a game that no one wanted to play. And the reason why I think this is because the amount of glitches that came out this season. Like, there was the castle glitch, the outback glitch, the organ glitch. What else was there? The thorn... Oh, no, there wasn't a thorn glitch. There was just so many glitches that didn't make any sense, like, whatsoever. And I feel like that's the primary reason why Siege was dying. People were tired of the countless cheaters in PC lobbies. The castle glitch, which, let me quickly get into that. So if you don't know, which if you don't, I don't know how, if you actually play Siege ranked anyway, there is a glitch with castle, and it allowed you to crash everybody's game to where no one would gain or lose elo. So basically, the way you would do it is, I'm not gonna explain, as it might still be in the game. I'm not really sure, but basically, at a certain time in the round, you could pull down a castle barricade, leave the game. So the way you could do it was you could leave the game. You could put down a castle barricade, leave the game, join back, and at a certain point in the round, you could pull down the castle barricade, and it would crash everybody's game. And this happened to me one time, and it was on my rank up game to Plat 3, I think is what it was. And I didn't gain or lose elo. We were up 3-0 on an enemy team, and they did the castle glitch, which was one of the worst glitches to ever come out. Like, out of all these glitches that I'm going to talk about, this one was definitely the most, like, the worst one, and the one that made competitive feel, like, forced. And the one that made competitive feel like it was pointless, as, you're pretty much guaranteed to at least go through the castle glitch one time. It got so bad to a point where castle was completely removed from the game. Like, you couldn't use castle unless you were in a custom. I think that was the only time you could use castle, which was absolutely unbelievable. So that's just the castle glitch. Next glitch I want to talk about is the outback glitch, which is pretty simple. Basically, what happened was you could rappel in on a certain point in the map. You could, like, swing rappel in, and that just completely ruined outback. It was the same scenario. They removed outback from competitive, and you couldn't play it, like, at all. And so you could rappel into the building without going in through a window. And, like, it was in bull too. So, and bull is one of the most, like, hard things to take over as an attacker, and you could literally just swing in and rappel. It was so stupid, and they had to remove outback as well. And so that was terrible. And then the last glitch that I'm fully aware of is the organ glitch, which is still in effect today. And I think I'm not going to explain how to do it at all. Basically, but the premise of it is you can get into the roof as both defender and attacker, and you can either plant the diffuser or deny plants up there with, like, the Chonka. That's all I'm saying about this glitch. Just be aware of it if you die in the roof on organ and you don't even know where you're dying from. It's so stupid. Or if you're on defense and you see that the attacker has planted the diffuser on the roof. It's just unplayable. It's just not fun. And it's like, why would you like, if you do that respectfully, you're a pussy. If you have to use an exploit in order to win a round, and that's with all of these glitches. If you have to use exploits to win games or not to lose elo and all this crap, you're just terrible, and you're a pussy. That's what you are. But anyway, so the whole premise of Rainbow Six Siege X was supposed to revamp the game. But the only real updates that they added were the Clash rework, the which is terrible, by the way. Let me get into that before I keep going on. Clash rework is one of the worst reworks to ever enter the game. Ubisoft needs to realize that people want new operators, not reworked operators. It's been 3 seasons within, I think, 1 year, like maybe 2, maybe almost 2 years, where we've had 3 seasons of just constantly reworked operators as the season update. Like, it's cool for the first week, and then you're sick of it because you've already played with those operators. Like with the recruit update, that was the best rework they did, and because you could play recruit and ranked, or you could play striker and ranked one out. You could carry C4 and impacts on defense. You could carry EMPs and hard breaches on attack, and that was just one of the things that was like, it's cool, but I'm already sick of it because I've already played with it. And that's the same thing with Blackbeard. He was terrible. He needed the rework. But do we really need to make a whole season about Blackbeard getting a rework? And it's the same thing for Clash. But Clash is just downright broken. It's Osa that can zap you. That's essentially what it is. You just can't stand up. Like, you can't stand up and pre-fire somebody. That's the only difference between Clash and Osa. It's so stupid. But yeah, so the reworks are terrible, and the maps are slowly getting more re-updated. But the problem and the whole premise of this video is, how did Quixx come up with so many glitches when the only updates they added were Clash, the map reworks, or it's just relighting. That's all it is, really. It's just the relighting and making it look a little better, I think. And then the repel system, which is so stupid. No one asked for the repel system. I mean, let's be honest. No one asked to be able to sprint on repel or hop a wall. Although it's useful, nobody was like begging Ubisoft for this content, And I feel like the players are rightfully upset that there are so many glitches that came from the launch of Quixx that it's terrible. Like how did a game getting slightly revamped create so many annoying glitches? And so that's just the primary reason. But then, like, we need to understand that Jinxie revived the game when it had its first downfall. Then it was back to normal. Well, now Jinxie's like a D1 Clash player. Like, he is becoming a Clash Royale player, and that's fine, but the game is suffering because of that, and that's sad. We're relying on one player to make the game, like, more entertaining and actually, like, want people to play it is so sad. Like, even Fortnite is better with that, like, being that people still want to play the game because they enjoy it, not because of Peterbot or whatever, And that's just the really unfortunate thing about Rainbow Six Siege, and what the downfall has become ever since Jinxie came about. And it's not Jinxie's fault, it's the player base and the game's absolutely terrible system, like, of, farming Jinxie too. Like, they use Jinxie, like, they gave him his own pulse set, and then they just recently came out with his mute skin, which I have, because I think the perp, or the pink black ice, is really cool, but I feel like Jinxie kind of carried them in that sense, which is not good. But yeah, so if there's if there's one player carrying your game, that's an issue. Like, there shouldn't be that. And I feel like, especially on PC, the amount of cheaters is unbelievable right now. And it's not even, it's like, and then, so they brought out a new system, the Abandon rework, which was good when you went up against cheaters, because you could leave the game and only get Abandon penalty for 5 minutes. Or, you could straight up and leave the game if you don't like the map. If you don't like the map, you can straight up and leave the game and only get penalized for 5 minutes, and then sell your whole team. See, like, that's just the stuff that, like, they need to add a thing, like, a fix to. Like, it's a hard fix, but if you have a cheater in your game, honestly, just deal with it, dude. Like, the Abandon sanctionment was perfect. it was just like it's either people are gonna leave because they have a cheater or because they don't want to play a map. Like, it's gonna be the same whether or not you actually have the abandonment update. Like, so that's just honestly the premise of the game. If you don't like something, you simply don't have to play it. Like, which is a good thing, but I think the abandoned rework is one of the worst things that Rainbow Six, like, Ubisoft has done. Like, I think it was terrible. And then the worst thing that has come with Quixx is the lack of hype. That was the worst thing that came with Quixx, and let me explain. So, when Quixx was first announced, everybody was hyped for it. They thought it was going to be like a new game, and it kind of was, but not in the way you think. You know, there's all these terrible glitches and all this awful crap, and you know, no one likes it. But people were like excited for the new game to come out, or for the update to come out, and nobody likes it. Nobody. I haven't seen one TikTok or one YouTube video saying Quixx is great. Haven't seen it. So, you know, I just feel like Ubisoft needs to rethink what they're doing. But that's pretty much gonna do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, please consider leaving a like, subscribing, turn on those post notifications for more daily awesome videos. And that's gonna do it. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.